immediately surrounding it before the SCVs can repair. Siege tanks getting taken out as well before the SCVs can repair, and Marines just getting picked off one by one. And it looks like, yes, Torch is going to be able to defend this more or less just with an SCV force to follow this up, but he's taking extreme economic damage, and he was already behind in the economic game. He still didn't take his natural expansion. Now finally the SCVs kind of group, looks like gonna do some group damage to that Nidus Worm, but really, wow, more units flooding forward for TLO, just rallied directly into the base. And then I'm not sure what they're doing. It looks like they're just suiciding forward. They're like, hey, party over there. But in the meantime, Torch has managed to sneak this expansion. It is up and running, but he can't really transfer troops there to get it running as quickly as he might want to. So perhaps he'll drop some mules here, getting an orbital command up. Looks like TLO in the meantime is going to open up that gold expansion to take an even stronger economic lead. And Torch in a desperate situation, he's really got to pray that this does not get scouted, and this is dangerous. Roaches kind of idling out that direction. Torch doesn't have his natural expansion. He's got to pray that this doesn't get scouted. He can really only mine this a little bit at a time. In the meantime, he's at a pretty extreme economic advantage or disadvantage, and that's just going to get bigger once that gold expansion is taken. And Torch is just hanging out, or I'm sorry, TLO is just hanging out outside of his base with a ton of roaches, a couple zerglings. Looks like that Viking is going to provide a little bit of scouting information as to what's hanging out outside, and he's got to be worried about that. Only a single siege tank to try to defend. I like the Viking scout though to push those roaches back. And unfortunately for TLO, he's kind of playing this in a position where he's not taking, okay, maybe now he's moving up. Yeah, now he's moving up to take that gold expansion, but playing a little bit slower, placing, and I love that play actually, very creative from TLO, dropping some overlord creep so he can get some creep tumors at the forward position rather than having to creep all the way. Unfortunately, he doesn't know about this 3 o'clock base. Still in such a threatening position that Torch doesn't look like he feels comfortable taking that natural expansion. He's really in an extremely defensive position. Only this, wow, actually a queen forward to provide some defense against this Viking, and it looks like Torch, yeah, gonna have to back that Viking out. But really, this is the story right here. TLO has the map control, has the economic advantage, and I don't know that this 3 o'clock base is gonna be enough to get Torch back in it. He is landing at his natural expansion now, but he's also supply blocked, and another Nidus Worm loading in for TLO. Oh, this is scary, and let's see what he's even got loaded in it. Probably, yeah, it looks like another group of roaches. Feeling very comfortable with the continued Nidus Worm. He's going to take that 12 o'clock base as well. A single Marauder scouting it a little bit too late, just in time to die, basically, and that's what you get for being lazy on the job. A single Marine there going to get wiped out as well. And now, wow, siege tanks trying to morph up, but getting taken out very quickly. It looks like there is a decent defensive force, but more distractions for Torch, and he really needs to just slow TLO down is really what it comes down to, and it doesn't look like he's going to be successful in doing so. He really needs to actually start utilizing these dropships and play a little bit suicidally almost. Pray that TLO just doesn't counter right at his natural expansion. Maybe you can get a planetary fort. Now it looks like he went orbital command. Looks like he's building another command center here to probably take his gold expansion. I don't know when he's going to be able to take that though, because just look at the difference in army size, 140 to 89 comparatively. And again, it looks like Torch is once again supply capped. He's getting pretty good use here at the 3 o'clock expansion. And finally going to clean up some of these overlords here. But yeah, it looks like TLO is just going to take the just absolute dominant control of the map, and what Torch needs to do is, even though he can't really hold territory with it, load up some of these dropships and do a lot of drops just out in the field. And it looks like instead he's going to try to do some sort of transition to air, planting 2 additional starports. I don't know that he has the economy really to swing that, and it looks like an overseer is going to dash in and see a lot of the information that he was really looking for as well. Let's see if he can actually check out that natural expansion, and it looks like some zerglings diving in. They're going to get some SCV kills and actually halt, maybe not some SCV kills, but it looks like they are going to be able to halt production for at least a little bit to do a little bit of squeeze of economic damage. It looks like that second gas taken out, so zerglings successful. And wow, I like this decision by Torch actually, and I think this is going to be scouted by TLO, but realizing that TLO is only running off Nidus Worms, he's floating this command center out to the island expansion. If he can get a couple of turrets up and basically deny overlords any sort of, wow, look at this flood of red though, and deny overlords to that location, he'll be successful. But unfortunately, if an overlord does get any sort of eyes over here, I don't think Torch is going to be able to defend this. And I guess that's why he's going up to the starports and adding the tech labs. He's going to try to take command of the air and try to force actually building some. Is he going to go mass Raven into the Hunter Seeker missile? I almost feel like that might be what he's after right here. And yes, I do see Ravens being upgraded. Never mind, ship weapons level 1. So we're actually seeing a transition into battle cruisers. And with this 3 o'clock location secured, he actually might have the gas to do it if he can get this bottom right. right. He'll if he can secure these 2 gas, the natural expansion really wasn't mined out of gas for all that stage. Unfortunately, now TLO is moving an Overlord to that bottom right-hand corner. He's also getting a Spire up. And let's see. Yeah, he's going to dodge. If he can put down a Nidus Worm, there it is. Ouch. Now Torch is going to be in a very difficult situation. He's got to lift that command center up. Fortunately for him, TLO doesn't really have anything that can attack air, so that command center is going to get out more or less scot-free. Some SCVs trying to attack and do some damage here. But yeah, it's just going to be a couple Zerglings in there to kill some SCVs and just camp that out. But now, even off the 3 bases, 1 base, his main almost completely mined out. He's really not going to be a nice. The Overseer running in and doing some infestation there on the corner. And it looks like some roaches right there to deny that gold expansion just in case. And TLO really taking over the map in the meantime. Really, Torch is not going to have the economy to even produce these battle cruisers and basically continue to pump. And you can see how low his resource count is looking. And also, well, he's not doing too bad overall, and he's actually caught up a little bit in harvester count and starting to actually push out, realizing perhaps to... I almost worry about this attack. It looks like Overseer's once again diving in to stop that starport production. I think that TLO, having spotted that, will have plenty of corruptors to deal with that in the middle of the map. Really what TLO's short on is he's not really produced the harvester count that he should to run off all of these bases. His army's probably maxed. So that's actually a lot of army when you think about it, because he's only 60 of that. 60 of that is harvesters. Wow. But yeah, as a result, he's not going to have quite the bank you would expect. So yeah, he's just middling here at the 300 resources when really he should be having a huge bank where he could reproduce, and that might hurt him later on in some army exchange situations. So looks like Torch moving out. TLO has taken control of the 12 o'clock location. Looks like he's not going to try to deny this gold expansion until he feels like he's got a significant army to do so. Moving forward with a lot of roaches, a lot of Zerglings, and I think he's being a little more cautious because I think he knows he doesn't really have the money in the bank to really do this. And again, I think that's a critical mistake, just overcommitting perhaps on troops, but instead he's going to follow this up with a huge doom drop right on the main, and I don't see Torch getting in position to really cope with this. So one thing for Torch is if he goes into an elimination match again, because right now he actually has a superior economy, he might actually end up ahead in that exchange. So pushing forward a little bit, looks like, wow, nice distraction infester right in the middle by TLO, and here comes the doom drop of Zerglings and everything else at the main. Torch looks like, let's see if he's going to commit towards a frontal attack or he's going to bring it back. It looks like he is bringing it back, but that is a lot of Zerglings. They're going to get a lot of damage done. Let's see how many starports they can take out before this army is actually able to get back and defend. No, now Torch realizes it's hopeless at this stage to try to get back there and defend it. Instead, starting to push forward, starting to attack forward, and Infestors continuing to delay this army, so not really killing these Marines, but it is creating some nice delay time, and that is a lot of red inside of Torch's base. Going to lose all of his infrastructure, so even though he had a stronger economy, is not really going to be able to support with it. Now a large amount of roaches pouring out of TLO's base. Beautiful, beautiful, wow. Green slime everywhere. TLO still might have to back off of this. SCV's coming off the line. Looks like Torch almost going all in with his harvesters. Wants to win it with more or less just harvesters, battle cruisers in medevacs overhead, but... And TLO, again, his economy just hurting. He just does not have the resources to reproduce the army the way he really wanted to. But in the meantime, Torch diving forward. He still looks like he has a superior army count. So a couple Infestors running up, trying to get what they can, not having a lot of success. The Infestors are managing to do some nice fungal growths to try to slow this army down. But even though it looks like, even though TLO is running through and destroying all of Torch's infrastructure, he's still having trouble stopping this gigantic army full of SCVs, Marines, looks like some siege tanks grouping up with it as well, and battle cruisers. And let's see, it's basically a race to elimination. You've got 118 units out in the field, and these Zerglings trying to destroy everything in the meantime, try to take out as many air units, etc. as possible. And it looks like TLO's going to lose his infrastructure now as well. His main just being crushed, and he can't defend it. Just too many, just a big army out in the air, and again, he can't replenish the troops as effectively as you'd want to. Looks like he is starting to get a little bit of a bank to try to support this. Keep in mind, he still has a lot of territory to work with. Looks like he's getting some anti-air, but just, wow. Torch continuing to just suicide in with SCVs, Marines, everything that he's got. Looks like he's moving some barracks in to actually land them and be just, I guess, annoying with them. Otherwise, he's probably just going to float these units around with his main army. Might even try to rebuild towards the left-hand side and just kind of move in as he goes. A lot of Zerglings trying to group up, but these Zerglings probably not going to have a lot of success, honestly, against these Medivacs, Marines, battle cruisers, and SCVs, because honestly, a Zergling just flat out without a lot of upgrades versus an SCV with a Medivac overhead, and particularly with Marines and so much other stuff right there to do a lot of damage, it doesn't get it accomplished. Looks like that Overlord might be catching, yeah, he's going to catch this 3 o'clock location. The Zerglings now diving in to do some damage, and I think TLO's best bet might even be able to take this bottom right corner and maybe and try, well, actually, I don't even know that he has a Nidus Worm that could get up there anymore. Unfortunately, he does have some Hydralisks now that he's starting to produce. He still has an economy, which is more than Torch can say. But Torch getting a lot of damage done, and he still has a very big aggressive army. Looks like that 3 o'clock base getting wiped out, but just floating units, and so now it's down to Torch's last units in the air and on the ground. Can he get it done with what he has? Another nice fungal growth, and that really what that's doing is that's just whittling down the health of the battle cruisers, although I think Torch can still group repair them. Backing off the little one a little bit there, and that would actually look like a significant exchange. Torch lost several units. I'm actually just going to bring up, yeah, I guess the army tab. Actually, I'll bring up the unit counter tab so you can see as it's going down bit by bit comparatively for both players. But Torch has a significant force. It looks like he's got 20 roaches, 68 Zerglings. Really needs to just dive in all at once, try to take out as much as he can, and hope he comes out ahead, because Torch cannot turn around and really basically reproduce his army. He has zero infrastructure to do so, while TLO does. Moving up is going to take out that gold expansion. It's going to come down to one big epic push, and I think it's got to be TLO that's going to engage here. So, and I'm going to lose a couple of these Spore Callers in the meantime, but now that army's trapped, diving in with the Zerglings, able to take out those tanks very rapidly. Some battle cruisers just taking out the Queens, but I think there's too many Hydralisks underneath, so the ground unit's getting taken out, but now it is just, and actually, never mind, still some SCVs in the background, but they're getting whittled down very, very rapidly, but not enough Hydralisks to take out these battle cruisers, I think. So I think these battle cruisers are still going to linger on, but maybe I'm wrong. It looks like a Queen with support, 4 Hydralisks otherwise, able to take out 1 battle cruiser, able to take out 2 battle cruisers, and there's only a single battle cruiser left, and I believe that is GG for Torch, because he's not, yeah, that's just too many Hydralisks pushing up. Well played by the little one overall. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Really exciting match. Thank you for listening.